things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not too uncertain. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. And my very first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go, go, go as we continue our journey through West Africa with Ghana, Benin, and Nigeria. And what a trip it is. I'm so glad you can come along virtually, audio-wise, and of course visually on social media, where you'll find us at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. We're on Instagram, YouTube. Actually, we're streaming on YouTube, even though it's audio only at this point. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're everywhere. You can also find me at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. And of course, Miles is here in the motherland with me. Miles in the motherland at Miles Low Music. And we are posting pictures as best we can. We are doing our very, very best to bring you with us in every way possible. And so, yeah, so tap in wherever you can. And I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your feelings, what you'd like us to focus on more. My eyes are on the United States, and it's so weird we are basically the tourists. We are the migrants. We're crossing the borders. We're showing our passports. And it just makes me feel even more for the folks that are facing the terror of ICE there in the United States. Because as I said, when we were at the border, trying to go from Nigeria to Benin, which took hours, and by the way, is that imagine going through this, showing your passport, doing your health declaration, doing your landing, exit paperwork and the visas and all of this. But you also are doing this with the threat of being kidnapped and thrown into some prison somewhere without notification to your family or friends of where you might happen to be, to your loved ones, of where you are. And so, if anything, this trip through Africa has given me more empathy and more feeling for those people who are facing this completely unconstitutional and inhumane campaign that's being done with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the FBI, and whoever else is out there snatching people. Because now it's coming to light that there are a number of ICE imposters, people just wearing masks and saying they're ICE, raping women, kidnapping people. And I'm glad that folks are waking up to this and demanding ID and trying their best. As Dr. Melina Abdullah said, we can know our rights, but it seems like under this current administration, We really don't have those rights anymore. But it doesn't mean you can't try to enforce them. It doesn't mean you can't ask for the warrant, ask for the ID. And I love that California lawmakers, Scott Wiener in particular, moving to try to outlaw masked law enforcement in our state, at least in California, and maybe some other states will follow suit. And the thing about it is, you know, the head of ICE said, well, our agents are getting doxxed. They're facing, you know, being attacked and this and this and that. Well, cops everywhere, that's the job they sign up for, right? Chasing supposed bad guys. And police and other agencies do not wear masks. The people that wear masks are the people in authoritarian fascist governments that do things like kidnapping people off the streets, detaining them with no due process, not reading them their rights, not giving them the opportunity to make that phone call to a loved one or to have counsel. And these are the things that we're seeing happening with ICE. I was tracking alligator Alcatraz all the way from here in Africa, and I really believe that these things will not stand, meaning once they go through the courts, we're going to find so many illegalities with alligator Alcatraz. We're talking about detaining people without due process, keeping them there, and then deporting them directly from the prison so that they would never, ever see a court or any kind of due process, the things that are guaranteed by our Constitution. I say all that to say that my empathy is on 10, being here as an immigrant, even though we've been treated kindly, and even though we have had a good experience, but it's still a hassle. You got to fill out all these papers. You don't understand what the guy is saying. Here you have the colonizer's language. When we're in Nigeria, you get English, Benin, French, Ghana, back to English. And then you've got all these ethnic languages, many hundreds of them. So you have ethnic languages, so we may or may not know what's being said to us, most of the time not. And then sometimes, even though we're speaking English to an English-speaking person, they have trouble understanding us because we speak fast and we use slang and we have our California, New York, Texas accents going on. So it's really helpful, and it helps to understand a little bit the plight of folks who are facing ICE and these campaigns in our country. At the same time, I'll say that I'm tracking the demise of birthright citizenship, that decision made by the U.S. Supreme Court that would allow the Trump administration to move fast in getting rid of birthright citizenship, and the announcement by Homeland Security that they are prioritizing what they call denaturalization, which means taking away people's citizenship. And you say, well, that's just for migrants. But if you look at the fine print, one of the things they cite is gang membership. Who are they going to label gang members? You, black people. And that is one of the reasons that they're giving why they would take away citizenship and take you to a prison with no due process. Gang membership. How do you prove it? You saw the gay hairdresser who got deported for being a supposed gang member with no proof other than an AI tattoo that didn't even exist on his hands. So it is our fight. 500,000 Haitians taken off of TPS, which means they went from being legal to being illegal overnight. 500,000 black people now being hunted down to be deported. Are you sure, as Amanda Seales said, that you don't look Haitian? Are you sure your mama doesn't look Haitian? Yes, black people, this is our fight. And I think being here in West Africa has brought that into stark relief in a very, very subtle way. And at the same time, it gives us this feeling of wide open space and remembering that it's a big world full of welcoming places and people who are looking to bring you in and to be able to learn from us and to be able to grow with us and to welcome us home. So thank you for coming on this journey. Please tap in. Please tell a friend. Please get the app. You can hear us on the app no matter where you are in the world, because I know some of y'all are leaving town as we speak. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and I'll be broadcasting live from West Africa all week long. That's how I'm celebrating America's birthday on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you, thank you.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
KBLA Talk 1580. I'm in Ghana, Accra to be exact. You can hear the traffic going by. It's a busy city. And I'm here with TeTe, who is our tour guide. Hello.
Hello.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
So, I missed some of what you talked about yesterday. So talk to me about Accra. Talk to me about some of the things you told our travelers.
Oh, okay. So we talked about basically some history of Ghana, Accra, and then the economic life of the people. Yes, and then what colonialism has done to contribute to our current reality as a nation. So, for example, we mentioned the fact that we have all of these resources, like we have gold, we have oil, we have diamond, and a lot of timber, and all of those other resources. But then we do not own this as a people because the foreign corporations are very much involved in the exploration of these resources. So we also mentioned that for that fact, we have just about 3%. That's what we get for our gold reserves. And then the oil, we have 13%. So the bigger part of it goes to those multilateral corporations that are involved in the exploration of those resources. Well, what that means is that there's not a lot of money that is available to take care of the educational needs of healthcare, you know, and other, like the basic necessities of life that we require as a people. So that is what that has contributed to it.
And of course, you did the city tour. This is my third visit to Ghana, so I've seen that city tour. You know, the Black Star Square and the monuments to Kwame Nkrumah and such. But talk a little bit about that, because even though Kwame Nkrumah has been gone a long time, he still has a big footprint here in Ghana.
Yes, because the Nkrumah's example of leadership is unmatched all over on the continent. Because I think in 2000, the year of the millennium, Africans on the continent voted him as the African of the millennium.
Wow.
Yes, Nkrumah was voted the African of the millennium during in 2000. All right, and this was a survey, and then that was done on BBC. It's a foreign media that very much opposed Nkrumah's ideology.
They may have taken him out, actually, along with the U.S. May have contributed to him no longer being president, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. So the classified document from the CIA, which reveals that, yes, the coup was manipulated from that side.
From the Western powers?
Yeah, from the Western powers, yes. Because he had written a book called Neocolonialism, the last stage of imperialism. And in that book, he brings out all the details of how all of those corporations are involved, how they undermine, how they exploit, how, you know, the conquest that they have done to African people. So in that book, he brings all of those truths out, which is why, then he became like a danger to their interests. So they were forced to kind of get rid of him.
And of course, Nkrumah had a Western education, so he knew all the secrets.
Oh, sure. Yes.
So, but, it's true, the resources are smaller, but Ghana has a very fast growing economy, and the cedi is actually doing very well against the dollar right now.
Yes, that's right, because we have moved from a third world economy to a middle income economy, just according to the IMF and then the World Bank. So that was in about 5 years ago.
International Monetary Fund.
Right.
For people who are not paying attention.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So we've been voted in as a middle income economy. So the country is doing well, and so for that part, Ghana is seen as a gateway to Africa. That's what they call it, because for Africa, because of its political stability and then economic growth. So it's seen as a gateway to Africa, because we played a lot of roles leading African emancipation and freedom.
Which is amazing when you consider all the odds that have been stacked against the country, the coups and all the things that have been done to keep
That's
Ghana
right.
down, but Ghana keeps on rising.
Oh,
and growing.
sure. Yes, most definitely. Definitely.
So, why do you think it's such a stable economy? Why do you think Ghana does so well, even though against all of the odds?
Well, that's a difficult one, but I think that there is commitment on the parts of the African people, like the Ghanaian people, to always serve. So, for example, we've had all of these various coup d'etats. Yeah. All right. So the current Republican status that we have is called the Fourth Republic. It's called the Fourth Republic as a result of the various coups that has taken place. You understand? But every time there is this coup, which they think that brings withdraws back the country's development, there's always an agitation, and then there is a constitutional government is reinstalled.
You guys just don't give up.
No,
you don't give up on democracy.
Right. That's
right.
That's
so.
Right.
A lot of Americans, especially Black Americans now, including my old boss, Mr. Stevie Wonder, are talking about moving to Ghana. And I know at the end of last year, a whole group of Black Americans got citizenship here. How do you feel about that?
Well, yeah, I think that's an excellent idea, because it is time for the continental African to link up with the African diaspora. You understand? To put up our resources together. There's no monetary, but the human resources, because on that side you have all this, and in terms of the technological benefit, because what colonialism also did to us is to underdevelop our technological know-how. It kind of destroyed it. You understand? So now that you have acquired the technology on that side, it's time, because now we are living the scientific age. You see, so people with scientific knowledge and power are controlling the world now, like what is being done in the US. So yeah, it's time we need to put our resources together, like educational and all of those other things, to kind of bring improvement to the Black people. It is time that we'll have to link our forces as a people. Because no matter where you are, like Nkrumah says that until Africa is united, the Black man everywhere lacks a national home. You understand? Yeah, so that means until wherever you are, until Africa gets economic independence, that the Black man everywhere is no. For example, the fact racism is an economic issue, the fact that you are disrespected based on your skin color, any part of the world, is because the continent, the homeland, is seen as poor and needy. So yeah, so as they look to the homeland as degraded, then it's the same way they follow you.
That makes sense.
So yeah,
and it's crazy because they say Africa is poor, but at the same time they're stealing all the resources from this country. Of course it's poor. You took the gold, you took the oil, you took the minerals. It's poor because you robbed them. It's not poor because they have nothing or we have nothing. But I do want to say, I'm thinking about Ghana. The year before last, we went to South Africa. And in South Africa, Black people own almost no land.
That's right.
Here there are no resources, but at least the government of Ghana owns a lot of the land.
Yes, so colonialism took two forms. We have what we call settler colonialism, all right, and then the classical one, all right. So in South Africa, because they were so resident there, they didn't leave. They had an apartheid system. You understand? But here in Ghana, we have what we call the Aborigines Right Protection Society. So the white man, after independence, they wanted to stay. But the Aboriginal Right Protection Society kind of got them. It's an organization that kind of got them, threw them out of our continent. Yeah, so those are the dynamics.
It's interesting because I had conversations with South Africans, and although people love Nelson Mandela, they think maybe we should have got some land, not just truth and reconciliation. Maybe there should have been some land. And so even though the resources aren't here, for me it's exciting to see, Black people at least owning land and at least having more control over the actual, not just the government, but the society.
Oh, sure. Yeah, here the land is owned by the people. Even the government does not own the land. If the government needs a plot of land to make a particular project, then the people he has to go to the people, that is the chiefs and the custodians of the land. So he sees them, he compensates them, and then the land is released to the government. And also in a process where the land is not used for that purpose that the government acquired it for, then the land must go back to the people. It must go back to the chief who holds the land in trust for the people. So that's how it works.
That's amazing. I mean, we're still trying to get our 40 acres and a mule. As African Americans, we're still trying to get some land and resources that were owed to us after we left being enslaved. So at least for me, I have admiration for the fact that at least you got the land, because the land is so important. So now we're headed to the slave dungeons.
Mm-hmm.
And we only have a couple minutes. I know we got to get on the bus.
Right.
But what would you tell the people at home about what we're going to be experiencing?
Yeah, so the slave dungeon, Max, at some point I've asked myself if we still need to maintain those slave dungeons on our land. But then I think it serves as an evidence of what, because so today, after 500 years after slavery has been abolished and all of that, if you go to the lunar castles, which is the biggest, the oldest, and the largest, you still have the stench. I mean, the pain. You still feel the pain. You understand? Yeah. So the presence of those slave dungeons, it's the evidence of the family divide. You understand? Yeah. So they need to come together. Sometimes if you haven't come to see it, come and see your roots. And then we also have to make the point that we know it's widely spoken in the West that we sold you. No, but then there are documentations that for every African that was captured, before they were captured into slavery, we were free people. So for every African that was captured from the homeland, about 4 to 5 people died in defense of that person that was captured out of here.
That's
you
an
understand?
Interesting statistic.
Yes, that was, yeah. So we didn't just sell you out. Of course, there are bad people in our communities then, which the white man used. The white man it's not a Superman, but then he probably maybe took advantage with the people, the bad people around, and then say, but it wasn't an hustle.
Right,
because
there's
today,
always hustlers and pimps.
in the northern part of the country, their homes are built in a certain way just to ward off the slave invaded and all of that. Yeah, so it's not an outright giveaway, it's not an outright sale, but like there were a system that kind of to make sure that you were protected. But the white man came with a superior weapon, which is the gun, you understand? So which kind of conquered us, and then they were able to get whatever they wanted.
But that's a great point. I mean, we didn't go down without a fight. 4 or 5 died for everyone that was captured. It's a great statistic.
That's right.
TeTe, thank you so much for talking with me today, and I appreciate the knowledge you're sharing on this tour.
Thank you.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Republicans aim to send their so-called Big Beautiful Bill to President Trump by Friday after a narrow Senate pass. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called it a disgusting abomination.
House Democrats are going to do everything we can for the next few hours, today, tomorrow, for the balance of this week and beyond, to stop this bill from ever becoming law.
The $3 trillion package faces fierce opposition from Democrats. The Supreme Court will hear the case of Damon Landor, a Rastafarian inmate whose dreadlocks were cut by Louisiana prison staff. Landor is seeking damages, claiming the act violated his religious rights under federal law. And Taraji P. Henson will make her Broadway debut next spring in August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone alongside Cedric the Entertainer. Directed by Debbie Allen, the play explores Black life during the Great Migration. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
3 weeks ago, Coco Gauff was on top of the tennis world after winning the French Open. Today, the 21-year-old African-American star is doing some soul-searching after losing in the first round at Wimbledon to an unseeded player. Gauff, the number 2 seed at Wimbledon, lost in 3 sets to Diana Yastremska of Ukraine. It's the second time in 3 years that Gauff, ranked number 2 in the world, has lost in the first round at Wimbledon. Gauff had 29 unforced errors and 9 double faults in Tuesday's match. Wimbledon has been tough on Gauff. Of the 4 Grand Slam events, Wimbledon is the only one where she has never made it to the semifinals. The Dodgers beat the Chicago White Sox 6-1. Shohei Ohtani hit his 30th homer. The Angels kicked off their 6-game road trip with a 4-0 win in Atlanta. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian, with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Catch Prep is now enrolling for summer credit recovery in fall 2025. As South Los Angeles' top-performing high school in English, math, and college access, Catch Prep is welcoming all 9th through 12th graders to enroll now. Catch Prep offers a small, supportive, and safe learning environment to help all students succeed, so that all students feel valued, respected, and motivated to reach their full potential. For the past 20 years, Catch Prep has helped more students of color gain admission to top-tier universities, with our graduating seniors earning a total of $3 million in scholarships, more than any other school in Los Angeles. We are dedicated to helping all students turn your college dreams into reality. Catch Prep is now enrolling. Visit us online at catchhighschool.com or call 323-293-3917. Spaces limited. Please enroll now for summer credit recovery and fall 2025. Call 323-293-3917 or enroll today at catchhighschool.com.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. One of the things I've noticed, especially in Ghana, the tour guides here are not your, Map of the Stars Homes Tour Guides. These guys go to school for it. They're very knowledgeable, and they have a deep understanding of their nation. Listen to TeTe right here in Accra, Ghana. KBLA, Talk 1580.
During the transatlantic slave trade, it played a major role. It was the closest slave market along the coast, so Europeans can easily march there to purchase the enslaved Africans. Now, we have a lot of slave market during the transatlantic slave trade. There was the Salaga slave market, which is in the northern part of Ghana. It was the biggest across West Africa. And there was Paga slave market. It's also in the northern part. And there was Damango, and then Asemanso. There was a lot of them, but they were not that popular like the ones that I just mentioned. But Asemanso was a slave market that they were grooming the enslaved Africans. Now, look at this. When they captured the enslaved Africans, you are never going to take your shower for about several months. So you get to Asemanso. When you get to Asemanso, there is a river by the slave market called Indonkonsio in our local language. This river is where the enslaved Africans took their bath before they were taken to the dungeons. Now, on the way, they march them from the north. They go through different slave markets because different raiders buy them to different slave markets. So you get to the coast, which is the Asemanso slave market. So a lot of them die on the way. Those who couldn't stand the weather conditions and the kind of atrocities that the slave raiders were putting them through. If, for example, if you become weak, they will leave you behind, and then some animal will attack you. So those who were lucky and who made it to Asemanso, they were fed properly, because by the time you get there, you look tiny, skinny, because they were not feeding them properly. But when they get to the Asemanso slave market, because it's a place where they groom the captives, they feed them very well, so that by the time the Europeans come, they will look good, and then they will get a better. I'm sorry, where you say something? Oh, okay. Yeah, they try to feed them so they will look good, so that they can get a better price. Well, there were. If you look at Ghana, we have about more than 40 forts and castles. So this tells you that Ghana played a major role during the transatlantic slave trade. It was the headquarters for the British, the Cape Coast Castle. Yes. 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 So at Asemanso, they have a place like a big hole that they dug. The enslaved Africans who couldn't make it, they would just tie them by the tree. Some of them, they threw them in that hole over there. Also, when we go, we're going to see two people who they planted their remains over there. We have some cousin from the US, and we have Lady Krista from Jamaica. They reinterred their remains they exhibit the way the slaves were taken during the transatlantic slave trade. They went through the door of no return, but these two people, they took them through the door of return as a symbol of freedom, or as a symbol of showing that they came back, even though they took them, they never thought they were going to come back, but they did that ceremony to depict the freedom of slavery. So when we go to Asemanso, we're going to see the graveyard of Samuel Carson and Lady Krista. Yes, they brought the ladies from Jamaica and planted it there, and then the Samuel Carson from the US. Yes. Of the country, Accra, the indigenous people are Ga people. But where we are going, central region, they are Fantis. So they speak different languages. We speak different languages. Ghana, we have over 40 languages in Ghana. The Akan people are the majority among the other ethnic groups. Then the Akan people include Chi, Fanti, Achim, Equiapem. It's about 16 different groups that make up the Akan group. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
LA County's Justice Care and Opportunities Department, also known as JCOD, is changing the justice system for Angelenos. If you or someone you love has recently been arrested, come home from jail or prison, or has been justice involved, JCOD can help. We offer access to housing, employment, court reminders, clothing, education, and more. At JCOD, we believe your life should not be defined by your worst moment, and everyone deserves a second chance. JCOD's Justice Connect Support Center is open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Call us at 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit us at jcod.lacounty.gov. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube at LAC JCOD. All services are free and confidential. JCOD serves the justice-impacted population all across LA County. Your future isn't behind you, it's waiting. Reach out by calling 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit jcod.lacounty.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
What make you? Yeah.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Okay, so Shannon is with me right now. She's an experienced trailblazer. Is this your first trip to Ghana?
Yes, this is my first experience in any parts of West Africa. Yes.
Okay, and where, is this where you got that hat?
Yes, I got it at one of the stops we made to learn about culture and history of Ghana.
Yes, beautiful. It's the African fabric, sort of modified bucket hat, but it's really a nice fabric that I've never seen before.
Thank you. I like the color scheme in it. You know, got to bring some culture home.
Yes. So what have you learned that was most engaging for you as far as West Africa? I know you've been with us before to Africa. You brought your mama. Before that, you brought your kids.
Yes.
But this is a whole different vibe over here.
Yes. I would say, well, what has impressed me most was Benin. I have to admit, I didn't expect Benin to have all of the, development. You know, I had a certain expectation for it, but really the Ghanbi.
You said it really
I really
good.
enjoyed.
Ghanbi, yeah, that's the village on stilts.
Correct. That blew me away to see. I was expecting for us to walk or drive by like one or two little houses, for example. This what used to be. I was not expecting it to be a large village, still totally operational, and people living a whole nother type of life on water. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was shocked. There were 50,000 people that lived there.
Oh my
that's
goodness.
That's a whole, we should call it a city probably, not a village.
100%. I was not expecting that. And really floating by a whole building on stilts, that's it, restaurant and hotel. Like, it was absolutely amazing. And the greeting we received from the boat, I made me wonder, like, did we invent synchronized swimming? We must have. We must have.
It's funny you say that because my first thought was like, Black people will adapt. We will adapt. Oh, we got to live in the water now on stilts. Okay, now we're going to make water on stilts swaggerific somehow.
That's what I'm saying. And when I saw that's what I said too, I said, oh, we're not going to do anything plain. It's just not in our DNA. Like, we're going to have to do something. We're going to make sure we do it extra special. And then on the boat was one thing, but then they jumped off, got in the water, and continued a whole routine. It's just amazing. It's like to prioritize that, because that obviously takes practice and coordination, right? It reminds you about the joy of life and how sometimes we see people in what we consider this kind of village or that, like, oh, poor them. No, not poor them. They have created a world and a life that's still joyful and creative and, you know, worth living with less.
Right. The joy of life being more important than just the material things.
Yes.
You know? Some of these folks do seem a lot less stressed out than we are.
Yeah, I think we need to prioritize joy a little bit more too. I think it would offer us some balance. But that for me was the best, and just eating there, meeting the leaders of the city, like we really should refer to it as the leaders of the village. It really was impressive. I enjoyed that a lot.
And I know that you guys did a city tour. I didn't go because I've gone to it 2 other times. This is my 3rd visit to Ghana. I'm trying to get some sleep, trying to get caught up on some work.
Understand.
But the discovery that, you know, the way that Kwame Nkrumah, to me, the first independent president of Ghana, still has such a huge impact on Accra, which is where we are, Accra, Ghana, and on Ghana as a country, is just incredible to me.
I agree. I, of course, have heard the name and know a little bit, but not a whole lot about Mr. Nkrumah. And going to the site where he's buried, where his wife is buried next to him, and all of the influences he had around the world, we sometimes forget that the leaders of Africa are international. They are not in small villages and have a small world. They are greater than that. And they talk about the convergence of different leaders that came to see him or pay honor to him. You know, it's just amazing. I also learned that when Black people stand up and show their leadership, and if their leadership does not vibe with America, all of a sudden they become communists or socialists, and that's a bad thing. But it's not. So it really helps me check my perspective too when I am thinking through history and thinking through how to accept what people have taught me, how I need to ask different questions.
That's a really great point. I think we're seeing it with Ibrahim Traore right now in Burkina Faso. They're labeling him as a authoritarian or a communist or whatever they label him, saying he eats the dogs and eats the cats. I don't know what they're saying right now, but we need to look at it, you know, with side eyes, because there's an agenda that if an African leader or an indigenous leader doesn't serve the Western agenda of letting us take their resources, then we either kill them or we discredit them in some way so that we can practice regime change. And I think, you know, hopefully with technology and the eyes of the world watching, they won't be able to get away with that in Burkina Faso.
Well, I just hope we have a different eye. We have so much more access to information. You know, as someone who works in education, you know, we have to really fight for critical thinking and critical reading and critical consumption of media, be at the forefront of how we educate our children. And I know that that is not what they want. They don't want us to be able to think critically, but that has to be at the forefront so that when we all are taking in this kind of information, to ask those questions. Well, who's putting that information out? And why are they doing that? And why would they put that as part of how we should take in that person and what they're trying to do? I mean, it goes back to even Native Americans, right? They were savages. Why? Because they fought for their land. Why? You know, it's like we need to see those similarities so that we can react differently when we see it again, right?
Yeah.
And it takes me back to the Voodoo meetup. Right?
Yeah, it was like a compound, a temple, yeah.
Yeah, but it takes me back to how we look at voodoo. We're taught, you know, ooh, that's voodoo, that's low life, that's, you know, anti-Christian, anti-this, and it's bad. And now being there and how the chief explained voodoo to all of us is like, oh, this is another example of something that people, it was their life, but it didn't serve, you know, white culture. And so now all of a sudden it's bad, and make sure that we don't like it or don't respect it and all of that. It's just, it's always that. And I'm just seeing more and more of that, and it's helping me understand so much more.
Have you seen, just from the trips that you've taken your kids on and your mom on, have you seen your kids' perspective change, or your mama's perspective, their attitudes? Have you seen the impact on their worldview, their souls, their way of being in the world?
I would say definitely my kids. They definitely take in things differently. They are, they let me know we're going out to help protest. We're going out to do this. This is not fair. Right now we're in the middle of struggle with immigration and all of that, and they're not for it. Like, they have now the sense of different perspectives to any one thing and create their own mindset. And they talk about it, it develops, and they're willing to go through that. They're just not willing to accept what someone says it is and move on. They are not that. Now, my mother is from another generation, so it works. It's a work in progress, I guess I would say, for her.
But she sure loves coming to Africa.
Oh, it's the highlight of her year now. It's like she wants to come and she wants to be exposed to different things. My mother didn't travel a lot. She was always working. So that was a regret of hers, and she talks about that and why now, bad knees, bad back. She's like, nope, I'm going to push through because I realize now why travel is important and to see different things. And she also wants to be helpful. She wants to give back. So that's another reason why she likes coming.
I'm smiling in my voice because I love the way she calls on all of us to be grateful and be happy and quit complaining and enjoy the opportunity and enjoy the travel. I love having your mama, Miss Rita, Mama Rita.
Oh,
everyone thinks she's their mom now. Do you feel jealous everyone's taking your mom?
Nope, I love it. Share the love, because she is a big personality. There's a lot to give. So actually, I encourage it. Take it on, please. But no, she loves being that person and being able to influence people to be grateful. She loves that. So it's great to have her. I know sometimes, traveling with family can be rough, but I also have the perspective, because almost every trip someone reminds me, like, I can't travel with my mom, either because of health issues or that they're no longer with us. And so that it's such a privilege. So I always remember that.
Well, Shannon, thank you for coming. Thank you for talking. And thanks for bringing your family into the African Focus and KBLA circle.
It's a privilege and honor. Thank you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. House Republicans aim to send their so-called big beautiful bill to President Trump by Friday after a narrow Senate pass. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called it a disgusting abomination.
House Democrats are going to do everything we can in the next few hours, today, tomorrow, for the balance of this week and beyond, to stop this bill from ever becoming law.
The $3 trillion package faces fierce opposition from Democrats. The Supreme Court will hear the case of Damon Landor, a Rastafarian inmate whose dreadlocks were cut by Louisiana prison staff. Landor is seeking damages, claiming the act violated his religious rights under federal law. And Taraji P. Henson will make her Broadway debut next spring in August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone alongside Cedric the Entertainer. Directed by Debbie Allen, the play explores Black life during the Great Migration. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra